Pancholi, Assistant Professor in LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. The video is about subject fiber optic communication. So friends, we learn about the fundamentals related to the fiber optic communication. In this video, we are going to learn about overview of the optical components. As we know that optical signals we need to send. So for that, the various optical components that are required to perform the operation. So in this video, you will learn about the optical couplers, tunable sources and filters, and optical mux as well as the demux. So these are the components that we will study one by one. Very first, what is the optical coupler? So this concept of the coupler that encompasses a variety of the functions like splitting the light signal into two or more strings, combining two or more light strings, tapping off a small portion of optical fibers for monitoring purpose, or transferring a selective range of optical power from one fiber to another fiber. So these are the mainly the functions can be done by the optical coupler. Fiber optic coupler that can be either the active device or it can be the passive device. The difference between the active and the passive coupler, that is what? So the passive coupler that redistribute the optical signal without converting them from the optical to electrical conversion. Active couplers, they are the electronic device that split or combine the signal electrically and use the fiber optic detectors and the source for input as well as the output. Couplers that should be classified as follows. So here you can see that the types of the optical couplers are the optical splitters, optical combiners, star couplers, okay. Then after the tree couplers. Again, the optical splitter that can be divided into the Y coupler as well as the T coupler. So this is the main distribution or the classification of the optical coupler. Now, from that we will first of all learn about the basic 2x2 coupler. So what is this? So 2x2 coupler, that is a simple fundamental device that we can use, okay, to demonstrate the optical operation of principles, okay, of the optical couplers. And these are known as the directional couplers. A common construction, that is a fused fiber coupler that we will see in the figure. So this is fabricated by twisting together, melting and pulling two single mode fiber so that they get fused together over a uniform section of the length W. Each input and output fiber has a long tapered section of length L. Since the transverse dimensions are reduced gradually down to that of the coupling region when the fibers are pulled during the fusion process, and this device that is known as the fused biconic tapped coupler. So here in the diagram you can see the coupler, okay. So there is the input power P0, okay, then the P1, P2, okay, so that can be inserted. Now there is a optical fiber coupling at the other end, okay. We have the throughput power, okay, that is the P1 and the P2, okay, that is at the another end, okay. So here we can see that it is divided into the three regions. The first region from the coupler, okay, to the device, okay, it's known as the tapered region. Where the coupling that has been done, it is known as the coupling region, and same way the previous one, it is again the tapered region. So this is what, it's a cross-sectional view of a fused fiber coupler having a coupling region W and the tapered region length, that is the L, okay, and the total span, okay, of the coupler's draw length, that is what, L plus L, it's a TL and TL plus W, so that is the total length. P0, that is the input power on the top of the fiber, which we will take as the primary fiber length. P1 is the throughput power and P2 is the power coupled to the second fiber. Parameter P3 and P4, that are extremely low optical levels, okay, that is a minus 50 to minus 70 dB or equivalently. So factors of the 10 raised to minus 5 to 10 raised to minus 7 below the input power level. So these results from the backward reflections and the scattering due to packaging effect and bending in the device. So the basic 2x2 coupler, okay, we have seen in the figure, okay, and that distributes the any given mode are not confined completely to the fiber core but instead extend partially into the cladding. So here we can see that the cladding core is the N1, okay, in that the harmonic variations that we can see, fine. Now in the cladding, okay, over the fiber, that is the N1, N2 cladding, okay, TE10, okay, TE1, okay, and TE2, three different mode that has been shown in the figure, okay, and how the signal that can be propagated, okay, what is the electric field pattern, okay, so in the lowest 3 guided mode, so that we can see in the figure, okay. So harmonic variations, again we can see that as the mode increases, the variation that can be also increase, the exponential decay, okay, that is also increases as the mode value that is increases. So therefore, if two fiber cores that broad close together, the tail of the fiber distribution in the one fiber will extend into the adjacent fiber core. So consequently, some of the optical power will be transferred to the adjacent fiber through the Evans-Kent coupling. The amount of the optical power coupled from the one fiber to the another fiber that can be varied by changing the coupling length W or the distance between the two fiber core. So this is about the 2x2 coupler. Now the variety of the performance parameters are there. So that will tell us regarding the performance of the coupler. So that is why we need to learn about the performance parameter of the optical coupler. So in specifying the performance of an optical coupler, one usually indicates that the percentage division of the optical power between the output port, okay, that is by finding out the splitting ratio or the coupling ratio. So what is the coupling ratio or the splitting ratio? So coupling ratio or the splitting ratio, that's the ratio of the power from any single output, okay, that is the PT, okay, so divided by the total power output at all port, okay, so total power output PT out, okay, so we can say that in the terms of the dB, decibel, this 2x2 coupler, okay, that is provide us the value, it is equal to 10 log 10 P2 upon P1 plus P2, and 3 dB coupler output, okay, for that the P1 and P2 is equal to 0.5 P0. So for doing the examples, you can use this all the equations. Second is the excess loss. This excess loss it is defined by the LE, and it is what? So it is the ratio of the input power to the total output power. And in the dB, okay, and it is the 10 log 10 P0 upon P1 plus P2. Next is the insertion loss. What is the insertion loss? So it is refers to the loss for a particular port to port path. So for example, the path from the I port to J port we have in decibel, okay, I port to J port, okay. So that is the power from any single port, okay, to the power input, okay. So that is about the loss. Next is the insertion loss or the crosstalk or the directivity. So another performance parameter, that's a crosstalk. So which measures the degree of isolation between the input at one port and the optical fiber power scattered or reflected back into the other input port. So next is the isolation loss or a crosstalk or the directivity. It is denoted by LISO. It is equal to the input power at the one port to the reflected power back to the another input port. In the dB we can write it is equal to 10 log 10 P0 upon P3. Now next category of the coupler, which is known as the star coupler. So now this star coupler that is mainly used to combine the optical power from the N input and divide them equally into the M output port. Okay, so this is the diagram for the star coupler, and this is the fusion technique, okay, which is popularly used for producing the N by N star coupler. So here you can see that how we can how we can combine the signal and how we can separate out. Okay, so this is the 4x4 fused power coupler. Okay, the optical power put into any port on the one side of the coupler is equally divided among the output ports. So ports on the same side of the coupler are isolated from each other. So here you can see in the star coupler that is the P1, PT, Pn, okay, and we can see the combined output that is a 1 by N, P1, P2, Pn, okay. So that way we have the output. Splitting loss in the star coupler that is equal to minus log 10 log 1 upon N, okay, or it is we can write the 10 log N. Fiber star excess loss, that is we can say it is the 10 log P in upon sigma I equal to 1 to N, okay, P out J port, okay. So these are the equations we can use for the star coupler. Now this next category, it is the 8 by 8 coupler. So 8 by 8 star coupler that can perform by interconnecting the 2 by 2 coupler. So excess loss in the dB, which is given by the excess loss is equal to minus 10 log Ft raised to log N base 2, where Ft, that is the fraction of the power traveling each coupler eliminated. So here you can see the diagram of the 8 by 8 coupler, which can be made by using the 2 by 2 coupler, okay, and you can see that there are the N by 2 devices, okay, so 8 by 8 N by 2 devices that we need, okay, and the capacity of that all that is a log N base 2, and it provides the output that is a lambda 1 lambda 2, okay. So this way the number of the 3 dB couplers, okay, that provide us the value that is N by 2 log N base 2, okay. So splitting loss is equal to 10 log N, and the total loss that is equal to the splitting loss plus excess loss. So it is 10 in bracket 1 minus 3.32 log Ft into log N. Now we will solve the example based on this technique. So 32 by 32 star coupler is formed by interconnecting 2 by 2 coupler. So N is equal to 32. So Ft is equal to 100 minus 5 upon 100, which is equal to 0.95. And 5% loss is there. So total loss that is equal to the equation we have to directly write. So it is 10 in bracket 1 minus 3.322. Okay, log Ft into log N. So it is equal to the 10 in bracket the 1 minus 3.32 log 0.95 log 32, and the answer that is the 16.16 dB. So this is about the example related to the coupler. Now the next point, that is the tunable light source. Now the tunable light source, they are required in many optical networks. These are convenient from the operational point of view because of the following advantages. So only one transmitter part, independent of operating wavelength. It reduces the number of different parts to be stopped and handles. So this is the only one capable of being tuned over the 8 nanometer to 20 nanometer wavelength. So wavelength tuning without changing the output power. Okay, so that is again the very important requirement during the transmission. So different tunable lasers are the vertical cavity surface emitting laser as well as the mode locked laser. So the flexibility of the WDM network that increases with a tunable optical filter, and the most tunable optical filter operates on a similar principle as the passive devices. So it operates over a range of the frequency and can be tuned at only one optical frequency to pass through it. Okay, so here you can see the diagram of the tunable optical filter, which consists of the input as well as provides the output, and we need a tunable control. So optical input increase frequency at the input end, and by tuning the control, we can select the optical output frequency. So this is the concept of the optical, the tunable filter. So the system parameter for the tunable optical filters are the tuning range delta V, channel spacing delta V, maximum number of channels, that is the N, and the tuning speed. So first is, what is the tuning range delta V? So this is the range at which, okay, the filter can be tuned, which is known as the tuning range. And the most common wavelength transmission window is 1300 and 1500 nanometer, and 25 Hz, that is a reasonable the tuning range. Next is the channel spacing delta V. So then this is what? It's a minimum frequency separation between the channel for the minimum crosstalk, and the crosstalk from adjacent channel, that should be 30 dB for desirable performance. Next is the maximum number of the channel N. So it is the maximum number of equally spaced channel that can be packed into the tuning range, maintaining an adequately low level of crosstalk between the adjacent channel. It is also defined as the ratio of the total tuning range delta V to the channel spacing delta V. So N is equal to delta V upon the small delta V. Next is tuning speed. It is specified how quickly filter can be reset from one frequency to the another frequency. So these are fixed frequency spacing with the channel separations that the multiple of the 100 GHz used in the WDM system. The tunable filter types. Now the following are used for this purpose. That are tunable 2x2 directional couplers, tunable Mach-Zehnder interferometers, fiber Fabry-Perot filters, okay, and the tunable waveguide array, liquid crystal Fabry-Perot filter, and a Acosto optical tunable filter. So this is about the various optical elements. Few more elements we will discuss in the next video. So thank you very much everyone.